Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Coach Sen here. Just wanted to give my overview of Selkirk's new Maxima shape paddle in the Project 08 series. This is their venture into a new wide body shape, which I personally really like, especially for those who are looking for the larger sweet spot, looking for the control. And there's some unique things about this particular shape that I think makes it somewhat different than others out there. Just as a caveat, Selkirk, they call this the Maxima shape, and in the past, Selkirk actually has had a Maxima shape before, but the shape itself, it's actually a much tighter, but a much longer type of paddle. I don't know anyone who's used it. I maybe seen one person on YouTube use it. Besides that, not in any of the areas I've been to, out in either in California or in Texas. And so I'm not too sure how popular it is, but for them to be able to use the same name, but to kind of rebrand it in some ways, I think it's pretty cool to revive something here. So, but just really quickly about this Maxima shape. So what I have here is the Maxima 16 millimeters. So it is the thick version of the Project 08 line. And as you may know, the 08 line does come in a 10, a 13. And this 16 Maxima is one of the, currently it's the only Maxima wide body shape and thickness combination that you can get in the 08 line. Maybe if this is successful, we'll start seeing more of these in the other ones. It'd be really cool to see this in, for example, a 10 millimeter. So I think probably the easiest comparison, or the comparison that I like to make, is actually between the Maxima and the Tour. Now, the reason why I want to compare these two is because they're both, not only are they both fairly new shapes for the 08 line, but more importantly, I think it's really the play style. So what I have here are the 16 millimeters of both the Maxima and the Tour. A couple of differences here. You can see that the handle lengths for the Maxima is going to be one with the red tape here, a little shorter than the Tour. But when you look to see the actual overall length of it, the Tour does beat out the Maxima just by a little bit here. Wide body, the Maxima is going to be slightly wider. And one thing that they both have is this aerodynamic shape up top that you typically see in a lot of what you call hybrid shape paddles. So that's the one thing I really like about the Maxima, is that first and foremost, its handle length is big enough for a two-handed backhand, which is what I have. It has a wide body, but it also has this aerodynamic shape where you can actually give a little bit more spin on your shots. So that's one thing I really enjoyed about this paddle here. With it being wide and also being pretty thick, I actually used to have a couple pieces of tungsten tape on the side here just to help with the plow through and to help minimize any sort of wiggle that you would get. Now that's one thing that you get with such a wide body paddle is you want to consider air resistance, especially when you're thinking about putting away shots at the kitchen. Well, with the air resistance, with this paddle being much wider, it's possible that on their way down or striking the ball, it may have a little bit of side-to-side resistance just because of the way it's shaped. So especially if you're coming from something like a Tour where it is a bit more slimmer profile, or the Invicta, you may notice that it is a little bit slower on the putaways. But again, pickleball, to me, at least what I've been noticing, is the slow game's actually been confusing a lot more players. So for me, it actually works out pretty well. Some other things I really enjoy about this paddle, it's a control paddle. I mean, it's the wide body with the 16 millimeter, so it is something just to expect it to be more of a control-like paddle. You aren't going to get as much power, but I think with the foam technology that's actually in here, you get a much cleaner power across the entire face of the body. Actually, a lot more consistent than some competing brands out there. So my wife uses a wide body paddle from another company, and you notice that definitely there's a few dead spots kind of around the outside, and that's just because of the nature of the honeycomb core that's on these paddles. And hers being a wide body shape, you still have a good contact point in the middle, but definitely on the edges you do kind of notice it's a little different here. But here, with these new True Foam paddles, because you have foam just all the way around to the edge, you actually end up getting a pretty solid hit, even if you end up mishitting as well. So again, the innovation that Selkirk is doing with the Project 008 line, with the new pure foam technology is it's pretty phenomenal. I mean, I know other companies are diving into the foam world as well, but it's something worth noting as, you know, as an innovation for the next generation of paddles. There are some videos out there, I'll link them below in the description, of some people just giving their thoughts on visiting Selkirk's test facilities. And myself, as an engineer, as a scientist, that's something that I definitely value in what Selkirk does, is really just precise prototyping, testing, manufacturing. Without that, without getting the accurate data, it's going to be harder to manufacture really solid paddles that are durable, and it's something, you know, we definitely want to get some quality when it comes to making our investments in pickleball. Granted, this is an expensive paddle, so it is something that's definitely not for everyone, and I completely understand and empathize with that. But at the same time, it's probably one of the best control paddles that are out there currently. So definitely check it out. Between these two, if you were to ask me the difference between the Tour and the Maxima, I'd say if you want to be a little more aggressive, if you find yourself as an aggressive player, definitely, you know, jump on the Tour. I know that there's the Invictus 16mm that just came out, so I don't have that yet. But once I get my hands on one, I'll definitely make a video about it. But for now, this has been something that I use during aggressive doubles play. So if I'm playing more left, so let's say in mixed doubles, this is what I'll be using. But then in men's doubles, I'll be playing more on the right side, which has been a theme for me for 2025, is kind of right side aggressive. I'll go ahead and use the Maxima here. So I do carry both in my bag, and that's how I use them. So, but definitely check them out. Like I said, these are great paddles, and I think Selkirk is really kind of moving in the right direction when testing out these new paddles, and the new technology is really for just better play on the court. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. Thanks so much.